So today, me and a friend Angelo worked on our Earthprise work. So basically what we did today is we focused on splitting up the work and figuring out who's going to do what. For instance, I've already started about 3 of these sections. I think there's about 9 or something. So what we did was we discussed what work we've done so far, and he's done a load of research and he's found these really amazing sources that talk exactly what we need to do about. So he's going to start working that into some of what I've done, and I'm going to start working on 2 extra sections, like the financials and the stakeholders. One really interesting thing I noticed was that one of the important stakeholders would be disabled people or people who use a wheelchair. For instance, I've heard a lot of horror stories about people who have wheelchairs, them getting lost during transit, and if we were able to work this into our system, we'd be able to get a big consumer group to be able to reliably use us, because if we become known as like a very, wheelchair-friendly thing, or if we specifically make routes so that a person with a wheelchair can use them, then we can really move forward. Because, for instance, if somebody wants to get from Utrecht to Paris, you could do that on wheelchair-friendly trains, or we would find a way to make sure it would be, and we would deal with all of the accommodation stuff for them, and build that into the system. And that I think something that's really going to stand us out from the competition, because this is something that gets overlooked a lot, the accessibility for disabled people that need to be able to actually get to places they want to go. They'd like to be able to have the feeling that they're there, because what I've heard is that often during air transit, people's wheelchairs either get lost in the system, which is horrible because those things cost thousands of dollars, or they get broken, and that's for somebody that's their way of getting around. That's a really terrible situation to be in. When I was working through the stakeholders bit, I found it quite easy, but the financials bit we're really struggling with, because we have to figure out, how much money will it take to get this resolution passed, give or take, followed by how much money do we need to then run the platform, and we need to know how much do web designers cost, how much do specialists on this cost, how much money can we get from the European Union. And actually one of the plans I've come up with is that I'm going to make an Excel document. I'm going to work this all into the Excel document, and then upload that as a secondary document to upload with it. It's basically in the written section, I'm going to give an overview, and then I'm going to say, for full details, please refer to the attached Excel document, because that way people can be able to see how all our numbers add up. Because Angelo has a lot, because what we need to, because we're working off of European Union funding, the way this project would work, is that we then need to figure out, this is a large size European Union project, how much money? It's okay, no stress, Mum. Mum's in the same room as me. Hey, Mr. Nick. Hey, Miss Lambert. And then we need to figure out how much money there is that we can use, and how can we most effectively think. Because important things are, running up, making sure the server's up, getting our product into marketplaces online so that people can see it. How much money will we be required to pay to train companies to use their networks, and how much money do we need to charge? All of this. Basically, the aim of the project is only to break even on the original investment, and the way we would hope to make that investment so far in my head, I've got the idea that we could possibly get some investors who'd be interested in owning a part of the project. For instance, maybe we could do a private-public partnership or something along those lines. So that is the plan so far. Is it a good one? We don't know. But basically, the aim of today, Angelo just messed around for the lesson, but he said he'll get some more than 2 sections done at home, which is great because he has some really good sources, and then hopefully next week we'll have most of the sections done, and then we can work on splitting up the majority of the refining and figuring out any problems in our system, and uploading tons of research and graph and documents, because I think something that will really set us apart is a really detailed budget. Which is a project in and of itself. So that's going to be the next week of my life, figuring out a budget for this project. But it'll be all right. We'll figure it out. Thank you.